It has those antiquated mechanics that you just don't get anymore while still maintaining a solid level of uniqueness. It's not a bad game, and in fact, I'd say that it's the quintessential old Fire Emblem game.
Why is this the hill you've chosen, Joe? FE3? Really? This game has the worst UI the planet has ever
Donald,
seen,
just
but
let
you're
Joe have
defending
this
it
one.
like it's
Nobody
your
else
best
gives a
friend.
shit about FE3, man. Can we please move on to a game that all of us actually care about?
Personally, I've never played FE3 either, so I'd also like to move on to a game we can all say something about.
Fuck it! I can't waste my energy arguing about this old-ass game. I need to save it for when you motherfuckers try to push Thracia to the top of this list. Let's just move on
Thracia's
to
going high whether
genealogy.
you want it to or not, Donald.
Will you bickering school children please shut the hell up and move on? We're done with FE3. We're talking about Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War now. Personally, I think the plot of Genealogy and the world building is easily the best in the series, and it sells a really good narrative about fighting against your fate. It's got heroic characters, memorable moments, and I really think it should go at the top of this list.
I can't believe I was this guy's vice president. FE4? Are you crazy? By the time an FE4 enemy phase is over, I could be at legitimate risk of dropping
Barack,
dead.
you're so far up your own ass with that world-building shit. Half of the Gen 1 maps are only in Augustria, and half of the Gen 2 maps are only in the Thracian Peninsula. What kind of sick moron came up with this progression?
Maybe the gameplay leaves a bit to be desired, but I also think the narrative holds up to this day. Just like in real life, it's only the 1% that do any of the damn work. Everyone else is too trash to contribute to their society.
Barack, this is the guy you have on your side? Are you sure you don't want to change your tune?
I might regret bringing Ben into this call a little bit, but I said my piece, and I'm going to stand for FE4 until my dying breath.
Bro, you can't even double unless you just happen to have pursuit. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Get it together. And as for you, Ben, don't make me bring Bernie into this call. His ass will talk your ear off about social inequality for the next hour.
Don't you fucking
don't
dare,
think
Donald.
I won't
Tell him,
do it.
Jack.
I know your ass isn't talking to me, Biden. You love Thracia, or as I like to call it, Retcon Simulator. Can't believe Kaga decided to just butcher his well-written story by just contradicting it 1 billion times over in the very next game. What a fucking insult to Genealogy's legacy.
I really don't get what your guys' problem is with this game's mechanics. Gold is EXP and FE4. FE4 is really the only truly capitalist Fire Emblem game. Unlike all the socialists like Marth and Ike, in FE4, everyone makes their own future. And the ones that get the most EXP are the ones that are the most successful entrepreneurs, like Do.
Holy shit, this guy really only likes FE4 because he likes that there's a huge gap between good units and bad units? Bro is lost.
Yeah, no wonder you like using do, Ben. Considering that stealing money from the poor is how you got where you are to begin with.
If FE4 ends up anywhere below B tier, I swear to God, I'm going to make those Capitol riots you incited look like fucking child's play, Donald.
Well, if FE4 ends up anywhere above B tier, you better fucking believe me and Sleepy Joe over here are going to tear both you and Ben a new asshole.
You know what? I'm willing to settle for B.
I'm not happy about it, but it's a lot better than the alternative. You know what is a good game, though? Thracia 7 of 76,
And he's
that's
lost.
right.
Jesus Christ, not this shit again.
Honestly, I think that Thracia is a perfectly good Fire Emblem. The gameplay is pretty complex, but the plot isn't much worse off for it either.
I will never understand these motherfuckers. Are you listening to yourself? Thracia fog, ambush spawns, an escape objective that just loses you, your whole party if you mess it up. Siege tome spam, ambush spawn ballistas, maps where the enemies have over 50 additional avoid and hit because of authority stars.
For fuck's sake, if you don't have door keys headed into endgame, you're going to be up a fucking creek. This is your ideal Fire Emblem?
All right, then, let me make a list, too. The ability to steal weapons with thieves or by capturing. Crusader scrolls. Access to absolutely absurd weapons like the Kingmaker, all the brave weapons, the Vouge, the Graf Caliber, the Dire Thunder, and a 5. That's right, 5-use hammer and staff. A consistent stream of units that are so much stronger than enemies that it's honestly fucking disgusting. Movement stars. The ability to potentially even level up your movement. The existence of Tina as a whole. For as much bullshit as Thracia throws at you, the game gives you at least twice as much bullshit to use against the enemies. That's what makes it peak, Jack.
Yeah, peak bullshit maybe.
The concept of the game is one thing, but why the fuck did they have to riddle Kaga's genealogy plot with holes to make this game? They really couldn't have figured out a more graceful way to incorporate it into the greater plot of Jug Draw.
Brock, why are you acting like Fire Emblem games have good plots to begin with? If you want a great plot, go play a Xenoblade game, for fuck's sake. What makes Fire Emblem work is raw gameplay, integrity. And let me tell you, there are almost no games in this series with as much raw gameplay integrity as Thracia.
Honestly, if you put Thracia low, I might just straight up leave.
You heard him, Barack. Put that shit at the bottom.
As much passion as you have for this godforsaken game, I will not allow this to be a top-tier game in my household. And since I'm the one making the list, this shit is going straight into B tier.
B tier again? At this rate, our B tier is going to look like the goddamn Burj Khalifa by the end of this list.
I'm glad we were able to come to an agreement on Path of Radiance being a good game.
Hey, if FE9 hits the A tier, you won't see me complaining, that's for sure. The base in the Tellius games is to fucking die for.
Speaking of the Tellius games as a whole, we're on to Radiant Dawn, folks. What a bomb-ass game.
If by bomb you mean it's fucking garbage, then yeah, FE10 is the bomb.
Finally, this motherfucker says something smart.
Sorry, Ben and Donald, but I just checked with my guys, and turns out you just failed the Turing test.
What are you talking about?
Well, right here on this sheet of paper I have, it says, and I quote, no real human could play Radiant Dawn and think it's a bad game. So the only logical conclusion that can be made is that the subjects Donald Trump and Benjamin Shapiro are robots.
We're all robots, you dipshit. All four of us are AI voices.
Stop it with the fucking fourth wall breaks, Donald. And besides, other than genealogy, Radiant Dawn is the game with the best plot in the series. The multifaceted storytelling which switches between perspectives, which all culminates in an epic showdown at the tower against a literal goddess. This is good shit, man.
The word you were looking for is dog, not good, Barack. This game is dog shit. Radiant Dawn actually tries to market the discrimination against subhumans as a bad thing. What the fuck is wrong with not letting those filthy animals into your borders?
You know what Dane should have done? They should have...
We're not doing that bit today, Donald.
Bro, do you have to be so openly racist to the Laguz? Keep that shit to yourself, man.
Now, I'm not much of a plot guy, but let me tell you, the way Radiant Dawn does gameplay plot interaction is fucking unparalleled. There are so many goddamn mechanics that show up for maybe 3 chapters total in the entire game that exist exclusively to make the gameplay line up more with the story than otherwise.
And I'm not much of a gameplay guy, but the mechanics of Radiant Dawn are so sophisticated that it'll make just about anyone fall in love with them. Redistributable skills, ooh, baby.
Ooh, I'm FE10. Look at me. I'm so cool. I'll just give you an entire army of jobbers that you play with for half the game and call it gameplay plot coherence.
Also, Joe, weren't you the same guy talking shit about FE4's enemy phases? What happened to that, huh?
The difference between FE4 and FE10 is that in FE10, when you're done with a long enemy phase, you get a fun player phase. But in FE4, when you're done with a boring and long-ass enemy phase, you have another boring and long-ass player phase to follow it up.
Hey guys, sorry, but my mom is calling me. She said I've been yelling too much and it's time for dinner. I'm gonna go now.
You know what? Just put FE10 in B2. I'm out of here.
Bruh, okay, whatever.
This is the dumbest Discord call I've ever been a part of.